I continued to protest while I wrestled her hands. Eventually, after what seemed like forever, she hit all the right spots and coerced me into copulation.
No, don't do it! No, don't do it!
Hello, friends, and welcome back to ReddX, your source for the freshest daily cringe content anywhere on the internet. Promise swearsies, it's just a fact, and it's totally science. Go ahead, look it up. Thanks so much! Today I pulled just a couple of random one-offs from the sub that haven't been read yet. That sub being my personal subreddit, r/ReddX reads. There does seem to be some Neckbeard stuff. There's also, like, some entitled people stuff. So I don't know, as per usual, we're just gonna get into this thing and see how it goes. I'm the customer, so you have to date me. Yeah, that's putting some vibes out there already. I originally posted this on r/entitled people, but after hearing many a legbeard and neckbeard story from ReddX, I thought that he would love this. And I also reposted on neckbeard stories, you know, for good measure. Did you name drop me over there? It's very important to name drop your favorite YouTube channel everywhere you go in life, okay? So this is another story from the world of customer service and Burger King. Wow, it's like McDonald's, but not as good. Would it be a shame if we start a fast food war in the comments, you know? So our characters are myself, my coworker, who I will call Barbie, and the villain of this piece, Jerk-Off, or Jackass. I think Jackass probably is safer to say. Okay, let's do that. Now let me start by saying, I'm fine with people who can break the script on customer service on either side, and I'm all for looking for love wherever you want. There are some caveats to that, we'll get into it. But know that when she says no, she means it. Also, this guy was so creepy, he'd give online incels a run for their money. He probably ran home, made a post about it. You got to be Chad in this story, OP, that's great. Her coworker was standing there and he was such a Chad, I bet they bang all the time. And then he goes and humps the mattress. Shout out Elliot. As far as the caveats go for like asking people out or whatever, definitely not at their job. Not while they're at work. But there are even sub-caveats to that. What if she's a bartender? Maybe that's okay. A waitress? Less okay. But when she is trapped behind a counter running a cash register or something, not okay. Please don't do it. You're making this whole thing far more awkward than it needs to be. Anyway, so I was in charge of babysitting the newbies for the day, as we just had a fresh crop of them whisk in. It's probably a job with a high turnover rate, isn't it? The rate of retention was low, and I was perhaps the one guy who worked on all areas at some point, so I had to train basically everyone. What are you being paid for this extra? Oh, am I in a management position now? That's great. Like, if you're gonna work at Burger King, really work at Burger King, you know what I mean? Step on some necks. I'm gonna own this store next week. Maybe next year. I don't know, but it's happening. Again, I digress. One of these newbies was Barbie. She was 16 and as much of a Barbie girl as you can get, complete with the shiny blonde hair and the bubbly personality. She was on the till to my right, and in comes Jackass. I wonder which till he'll choose. He's like, I gotta fuel up. It's almost 4 p.m. I gotta go cruise for 8th graders.
She said she was 12.
Somebody beat him up. Go ahead. I know where it's going. If we give him the boots right now, medium style, then we won't have to give it to him hard style later, right? Guess we'll see. So Barbie is busy taking his order when all of a sudden he decides to ask for her number. Now, I'm sure she's used to it, as she brushed it off and just said, like, sorry, I'm totally seeing someone. So, would you like your meal large or something? Nah, I give it large. I don't buy it. Ew. This is what coon brain does to a person. I hate it. Jackass said this as if he could impress her with his vulgarity. Like, okay. So any sides? She asked. Stonewalled. Barbie wasn't gonna break from the script purely out of discomfort, I think, At this point, I was finished with my customer and turned my attention on this guy. Here he comes, and maybe in the comments we can rewrite this whole post from like an incel's point of view. That would be funny. You are gonna be the Chad today, aren't you, OP? Tell me so. No, don't tell me too quick. We're getting to know each other. It's kind of weird. Anyways, I'm really on one today. Okay. So yes, it depends. Can I have you as my side? I'd love to make a meal out of you, Jackass told her. I mean, the point of a side is that it isn't a meal on its own. What are you talking about? Can you go away now? The sheer cringe was uncomfortable for all of us except for him. Yeah, he's in his own world for sure. Do you need me to step in? OP asks. Like, I'm okay, but you can stay near or whatever, Barbie said. No worries, I told her. Is this your boyfriend? Jackass asked her. No, but like, you're making me feel really uncomfortable or whatever. You're like 10 years older than me or something, and you're totally creeping on me. She calls him like she sees him. She got a good head on the shoulders. I think that she was hoping that he would just realize what he was doing was failing completely and making everybody uncomfortable and maybe just give up. Yes, preserve your last morsel of dignity. Ah, what am I saying? You ate it long ago, didn't you? He said, honey, I'm your customer. This is part of customer service. So just give me your number and my order and I'll come by later to pick you up, he replied. Sir, this is a Burger King. What are you doing? Please, go back to your cave. You know we deliver now? The sheer entitled attitude towards her was starting to annoy both her and I. Sir, I'm just going to be blunt with you. I'm not going to allow her to deal with you any further. You're either going to finish your order with me, and it will be a takeaway, or you can leave now, I said. Oh, look at this. They should pay him more, you know?
Give that guy a raise.
You should open up a Patreon, OP. I'll subscribe to your Patreon, you subscribe to mine. Sound like a deal? Cool. Patreon link in the description. Thanks so much. Barbie quickly took a step back from the till and let me take her place. Hey, that's not cool. We're both guys here. No blocking me, man, Jackass exclaimed. You don't understand what this place is, do you? We make hamburgers, sir. He was actually angry because I wouldn't let him hit on her. I told Barbie to go into the kitchen and grab a drink of water or something while I dealt with him. I honestly don't care if you think because we're both guys, you're entitled to make my front counter team uncomfortable. You have a right to order food from here, for now. If you continue with this behavior, I will simply have you leave, I told him, hoping that my stern voice was enough to get him to focus, but it was not. I told you, dude, he's off in La La Land. He's envisioning a wedding and children with Barbie already. His wheels are spinning. He's plotting his plan to come back here twice a week for the rest of his life. Or until Barbie quits, I guess. We know people like this too well at this point. So this guy just continues on with his order for a moment before redirecting his attention to Barbie, who had just popped her head out of the kitchen to see if she was in the clear. And he clicked on immediately when he noticed her. Why can't you just take my order and give me your number? All I want to do is give you some, he shouted at her. You're making a spectacle of yourself. You don't even realize what an embarrassment you are. Barbie immediately fled as the manager on shift came out of the dry store after hearing the commotion. I immediately signaled them to call the security staff for the shopping center before turning back to the customer. Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to leave now, as I don't feel comfortable with you even being in the same place as my colleague. Now please leave. I'm going to cancel everything from your order, and you won't be served any further by any of our colleagues here, I informed him. They really are going to have to drag him out kicking and screaming, aren't they? That's so funny. Fine, good, let it happen. It's good for the show. I'm not leaving here until I get her number. Do you even know who I am? Oh, there we go. He said, as if knowing who he was would change my opinion on him. No, but you're not harassing my colleague for her number, so you can act like a big man. You look closer to my age than hers, and so you should know that acting like this is inappropriate. I have no problems with a guy asking a girl for her number, but when she says no, it means no, I explained to him. I'm surprised we're even still verbally communicating at all, or are we just buying time for security to come in here?
Hamburgers can see the future! Rosie!
Sorry about this. We share the building with a mental hospital.
Since when? When a horse says no, you simply pay her more money. It's the same here. When she says no, you keep asking until she says yes, he replied, as if that meant that he was all of a sudden in the right. It's a very worrying mindset, if I'm honest. I mean, he might be rich enough to buy other human beings, but he's not rich enough to not eat at Burger King, so that speaks volumes, I think. A moment later, security walks in. The manager walked out to point out the customer, who was still irate because he couldn't get an underage girl's number. I'd already canceled his orders on the tills, but he was still refusing to leave until he got her number. This level of thirst is unheard of. Security just walked behind him and tapped him on the shoulder. Sir, you have to come with us, the security guard said. But she hasn't given me her number yet, he told them. And she won't. Now, please leave, I told him. And with this, he finally admitted defeat and skulked away. I was hoping for a bit more of a climax. They had to tase him or something. Do security guards get tasers? I don't even know. I don't know what made him think that he was entitled to her, but I'm just glad that she was protected properly. You can ask a girl out, but you can't harass her if she says no. When Barbie left that day, she was driven home by one of the female members of staff who finished at the same time. She actually came back as well, and I made sure she was okay to keep working on the tills before I put her back on that day. I might call her Barbie, but really she was a boss Barbie, if anything. Good on her for not letting him shake her. Yeah, for 16, she handled herself real well. And I don't think Barbie's an insult, you know? Barbie's done everything, gone to space and stuff. I mean, yeah, Barbie had to wear space diapers, but they were pink. They were on brand. I'm a single bachelor myself, and I understand that flirting's okay, so long as you don't act like an entitled jackass and mistreat someone who clearly isn't interested. Also, as a rule of thumb, when you're 25 plus, don't even bother hitting on a girl who is 16 and actually looked even younger due to her baby face. That is just creepy. See, there's more of those caveats that we was talking about. My rule of thumb with age range is normally 6 years younger to 6 years higher. If you have a different one, that's fine. But don't be creepy. I guess mine is also +6 -6. Especially considering wifey is -6. I don't know what people's opinions are on sexual harassment on here. You don't, really? But I hope you all appreciate that you should never act like this to anyone ever. No one is entitled to date anyone else. It's a privilege to have a partner in love and in life, no matter how long it lasts. Oh, I'm sensing some pain behind those eyes, OP. It's gonna be alright. If anyone needs assistance with dealing with any form of harassment in the UK, here's a link to a couple of groups that help with this sort of issue. orand.org.uk and rapecrisis.org.uk/gethelp/want-to-talk. I'm sort of sad we didn't get the physical description of this guy really, but my mind tends to fill in the blanks. Standard neckbeard template, here you go. Really the most disgusting part about him isn't his looks, it's his entitlement towards other people. I don't know why he thought this was okay. I doubly don't know why he thought it would work, especially when he's just like making a whole scene about it. Like she's gonna give him a number just to get him to stop doing whatever the hell he's doing. It's really weird, man. But I guess that's the type of stuff you get in customer service, and that's why I can't do it no more. Episode's a little short. Let's see what else we got here. Entitled Neighbors. Welcome Daisy Dog 2023 to the channel. one-off miscellaneous, I guess it's entitled people something. Obligatory posting from phone, so sorry. Cast, OP, that's me. Girlfriend, my girlfriend. Dad, my dad. Mom, my mom. How would I ever have figured those out? EN1, older male, patriarch of the family. EN2 is his daughter. EN3 is daughter's male significant other. And EN4 is the matriarch of the family. Well, that naming scheme is just terrible. I'm gonna go with mom, dad, daughter, boyfriend, okay? Background. So, fairly recently moved across country so my girlfriend could do her PhD at an Ivy League. We live in a residential neighborhood, but a government administration building is across from us on a dead-end street. A nice lady security guard greeted us one day and told us a bit about our neighbors. And she pointed to entitled Dad's house and told me that they do nails there. Whatever. Doesn't really bother me at all. Not a fan of American zoning laws. Is this some sort of gossip, or is she trying to tell you that you need to treat yourself? You know? I'm not sure what's going on here. Writing style's a little rough, but we're into it now, I suppose. So fast forward the next several weeks, and entitled daughter's customers have been parking in front of our house, cutting through my yard, leaving litter, and one day even apparently leaning on my house, and in one case attempting to stare through the window. Oh, look at all that nice stuff you got in your house. If I was a different type of guy, I might be running up in there to steal it. All I'm saying, OP, is maybe it's time to become a fan of zoning laws. Maybe a little anonymous tip for your own convenience, you know? People say snitches get stitches, and to that I say, fuck you, I don't have to live like this. Girlfriend confronted these last pair because she could hear them making noise and saw them peeping. I was on the other side of the window in my underwear, snaking the sink, and I was unaware of all of this. God. If I can't snake the sink in just my undergarments in my own house, where can I do it? This is supposed to be America, goddammit! She politely informed them that they were on private property, and the driveway that they're in isn't affiliated with the people doing nails, and the girls got rude. So at that point, we began parking on the street and leaving trash cans in the street to prevent their customers from parking in front of the house. Oh yeah, this is war! The most passive-aggressive war you've ever experienced. So entitled dad or one of his family members called a friend of theirs who works for the city in one of those let's be good neighbors departments, and this nice gentleman came out and explained that there's an ordinance about leaving trash cans out for more than 24 hours. We truly do live in a society. I can't take it anymore. Just let me leave the cans out, please. We explained the situation to him and even pointed out how entitled daughter's car was partially blocking our driveway. They have a 2-car attached garage with a 2-car driveway, which made getting in and out of our driveway difficult and even dangerous because people often speed down our street. Well, this doesn't sound like a very nice place to live at all. Get your PhD and let's get the hell out of here. Well, this nice gentleman said he understood, and he told us that he'd speak with the entitled family and advise them to come over to discuss things with us. Oh, that's gonna go really well. We told him, okay, that's fine, and we looked forward to their visit. They never visited. Yeah, you didn't understand. Passive aggression. Confronting you would get rid of the whole passive part. They would gotta go aggressive, and honestly, I'm already on parole, dude. I'm not going back to jail. So fast forward a bit more, and this past Monday, my parents came out with a trailer full of stuff that we weren't able to move on the first go. Entitled daughter's car was no longer blocking the driveway, but it was so close that it was difficult for my mom to back the trailer in. So I go over and ring their doorbell. It tells me that they can't answer the door. It's a bit after 9 a.m., so we do our best and get the trailer in without damaging their car, but the truck tires were on the grass next to the driveway. And it seems like such a small, petty nothing. That's why I don't often do entitled people stories. But to this person, those tires on the grass definitely matter. What are we having for breakfast this morning? A fist fight. Well, we're all unloading the trailer, and entitled dad pulls up, double parks, and tells my dad to move the truck. My dad says, we're almost done, and entitled dad starts yelling. This triggers my girlfriend, who tells him to get out of our driveway, and he yells something along the lines of,
Get off of my property!
They go back and forth for a few seconds when he shouts, Get off my property, or you'll learn today! She takes this as a threat, puts her hands up, and says, Go away, and walks back to the house to call the nice gentleman from a week or so ago. Entitled dad then begins complaining to dad that girlfriend never said hi to him or talked to him at all. Yeah, good fences make good neighbors. You never heard that? I've had my neighbors reach out to me. I brush them off every time. I don't want to get involved. At this point, they have moved their car back, and I tell my dad to just move the truck. There's a good chance that the tire was still on our property, but I haven't had a survey done, so yeah, not really worth the fight. Their friend, the nice man from the city, listens to girlfriend's story and says it's beyond his department and that now it's a police issue. Oh, great. Girlfriend calls the police and makes a report, but nothing can be done because entitled dad is no longer on the property. Even if he is on the property, what are the police really going to do? Ask him nicely to move? File something in a report? They're not going to arrest him over it. They'll be like, this is the 30th dumb shit spat between neighbors that I've visited this week, and I just don't have the energy. Move the fucking truck, please, sir. My dad then remembers that entitled dad had a shirt and a badge that indicated that he worked at the school that girlfriend is doing her PhD at. So she informs her PI and various relevant deans. Damn, dude, I don't think you have to take it this far. I'm glad that their nail business is booming now because, yeah, it just cost him his job. But I guess revenge is revenge. This was just the knockout punch. So last night, our cameras alert us to movement out front. Entitled daughter and entitled boyfriend pull their car out of their driveway and park in front of my car, backing up as close as they can without hitting it. And they begin to take pictures of my car and my house, so we activate the alarm, and they go home. Oh yeah, cool, secret midnight mission. We'll sneak over there and take pictures. For what purpose? So this morning, girlfriend notifies her boss and dean, and they set up a meeting with campus police since he is a campus staff member. For reference, I have greeted their family and introduced myself and girlfriend, although she was in absentia. So this man is probably going to lose his job for harassing a student researcher because he felt entitled to her time and attention. She only goes outside to take the puppy in the backyard and get in or out of the car because she's so busy doing homework and working from home for her research. Well, I have often said you're not entitled to anyone else's time or attention. Probably my neighbors would like to get back at me in some way. They put themselves out there and I snub them, essentially. That can't feel too good, but also fuck it. Take it as a lesson learned, you know? I'll say hello, I'll be cordial, but yeah, I don't want to stop and chat. My life is over here, your life is over there. Let's just keep it that way. It's easier that way. It's worked this far, hasn't it? I did have a landlord like this in the Philippines, though. He's like, oh, he never says hello to me, and he's only awake at night. It's like, yeah, dude, and I pay my rent, so fuck you. Nod and a wave. That's all you get. That's all anyone gets. You want to take it further than that? It's difficult. So I get it. Costing the man his job, or almost costing him his job, it seems like maybe a bridge too far. Like maybe you guys could have just sat down and talked the whole thing out, but nobody seemed willing to do that. So I don't know. Get the cops involved, whatever. Who cares? So yeah, I'm still feeling like the video's a little bit short. Sort of a rough video to end on too, so let's try and bookend this. As long as you start strong, end strong, the whole video is going to be fine, right? So let's jump into one more. We'll see how it goes. The Waffle House Lady. Thank you to user Banquo. Welcome to the channel, my friend. Apologies for the lackluster title, but I figured to name it after the titular character. I mean, yeah, that's allowed. It's your story. You tell it however you want. Sometimes a flashy title does help to catch my eye, but hey, you're here, so success. I also cross-posted this from r/DatingHell, and I forgot to post it here for about 4 months. I mean, better late than never, I guess. And it's been a while since we did DatingHell stories. It's kind of neat. We got like a little combo platter going, you know? Entitled people, neckbeard stories, DatingHell, throw in some RPG horror stories, and you basically collected the whole set. So first-time poster on this subreddit, long-time lurker of Reddit. Usually I hang out on TTRPG Reddit, but I figured I could tell my story here. I mean, there is some overlap, I'll say that. Let me get my trigger warning out of the way. Light abuse and coercion. Oh, but it's light, you say? Cast of characters. OP, a naive 20-something at the time of this story who recently got divorced and just wanted a human connection. Damn, condolences, my dude. Waffle House lady, the person that got their claws into me, as well as almost gave me the pronouns was, were. Did you meet her at Waffle House? That's where all the crazies go, you know that. Angel, a sweet old lady that probably was selectively unaware of her family members' nonsense. Yellow, the poor, unsuspecting server. My sense of self-preservation. Really, he's an absent or silent character here, played by Danny DeVito, of course.
I just wanna be pure.
So, quick backstory. I recently divorced at the time, and I found out my ex-wife had already moved on with who I would later find out was my then best friend. Damn, dude, there's some Jerry Springer content right here. And then you got a rebound from the Waffle House lady? Sure, why not? I was distraught because I was still very much in love with my ex. The breakup happened so quickly and unexpectedly that I didn't have time to fall out of love or grieve properly, but I guess that's another story. And a juicy one at that. Anyway, I figured it wouldn't hurt me to put myself out there, so I joined OkCupid. Yeah, you know how they call it OkCupid? It's not like good Cupid, great Cupid. It's just okay. I was on it for a few weeks, not getting too far, when Waffle House lady messaged me, so I'll start from there. I was at work, and I seen a notification that Waffle House lady matched with me. Nice, everything's coming up Millhouse. I was in my 20s at the time and was excited that I had matched with someone. I walked away from my desk to go to the bathroom so I could get a conversation going. I'm such a romantic, I know. Hey, don't knock it. I get some of my best thinking done in there. However, she must have had the same idea because not even 30 seconds later, I get a message from her. Hey, handsome, it said. I blushed a little. I won't lie. Yeah, compliments always work on men because they never get them. I didn't recognize her because at that point I was just swiping right and screening who matched. Which is behavior that I am now not very proud of. Whatever, you're out there looking for the rebound. It's fine. I'm pretty sure it's fine. I checked out her profile and I was floored. She was gorgeous. Someone that I felt was way out of my league, so naturally, I assumed it was a romance scammer. I was also pretty edgelordy back then and decided that if it was a bot or some romance scammer, I could waste their time a little bit and have some fun. Bots not really all that fun to mess around with. Another human being? That's where the magic happens, with the human element. I did a little digging on her profile, did a quick Facebook search in my area, and I found her. She definitely wasn't a romance scammer, so I just continued to converse with her, and things went well. She was funny, sassy, and down to earth. She was recently a single parent with a child of around the age of my oldest. If anything, I thought, I made a friend who had a child that mine could be friends with as well. At the time, if someone attractive was attracted to me, I knew that there was a red flag somewhere because I was so damn insecure that I didn't feel worthy of love. Thankfully, though, I have matured since. I mean, yes, definitely know that you're deserving of love, but always keep your head on the swivel for red flags, man. They crop up in the unlikeliest of places. So we talked for a few days, and she asked if I wanted to meet up, and I said, sure, of course. I was working a pretty good job then, so I told her that she could pick the place, and that money was not an issue. Oh, what a flex. Look at you go. We going Outback Steakhouse, girl. Sure, you can have the bloomin' onion, whatever you want. OP says I did want to flex a little. Plus, she wasn't working, so I wanted to take some of the pressure off of her. She said she'd let me know the day of the date, as she is horrible at making decisions on the fly, which turned out to be a lie. Yeah, that's pretty sussy, I'm not gonna lie. That's when you gotta start flexing again and say, I told you could pick the place, not the date. I'll let you know when I'm available. Power plays. Don't actually do that, it's fine. I counted the days, and it was finally time to go meet up with her. I asked her if she figured out a place yet, and she said, no! And to come pick her up, and we'd just figure it out when I got there. Oh wow, yeah, great. I hate that. You've had days to pick a place. You fucking do. You got no job. Maybe I'm coming on a little strong. I don't know. I guess we'll see. I pulled up to a large, beautiful house with even nicer cars in the driveway. And here I was, sitting in this tank of a minivan because nothing says sexy single dad like a beat up minivan. I was a baller. I know. Yeah, how many miles to the gallon you get in that thing? 5, 6? Awesome. I go to the door and an elderly lady answers. I was raised by an old Italian crooner generation grandparent, so I turned on the charm. I said, I'm here for Waffle House lady. Are you her sister? This made the old lady, who we will call Angel, because after speaking to her for almost 2 hours and seeing her a few more times, she really was nothing short of an angel. Well, Angel blushed, and she said that she was her grandmother and Waffle House lady lived here. All right, you're in there with the parents, it's a done deal. She welcomed me in and offered me water or tea or coffee. I politely declined. And then she brought me into a beautifully decorated room where we sat and chatted as she called down for Waffle House lady. It's not like I surprised you. I told you what time I was going to be there and you're not ready. This is pain. An hour passed. An hour! And there was no sign of Waffle House lady. Her grandmother walked upstairs to check on her, and I heard a shrill yell from their direction. Angel came back down and, with a sigh, apologized and said that she would be just another minute. I receive a text saying, I look like crap! You won't like me! You might as well leave! Oh, good. Someone who's just as neurotic as I am. Come on down. We can make each other worse. I promise. I tried to be supportive, saying I didn't care what she looked like, as long as I got to spend time with her. We hemmed and hawed back and forth, and after some extreme shouting from upstairs, she said she was just being silly and finally came down. Ah, yes, I too am often silly for hours at a time. Crazy bitch. It was almost 10 o'clock at this point. I really should have just gone home, in retrospect. Yeah, this was all a test. She's playing her little games with you. To rewind a bit, during this time I met her grandmother, her aunt, her dad, and her son. I was pretty familiar with the whole household at this point. I'll say that they were all very lovely people, and I hope that they're doing well. So Waffle House lady's just like the black sheep or something? I don't think so. I think they're all this crazy deep down. They've just adapted and learned to hide it a little bit better. So Waffle House lady comes down and she's looking fine as hell. I greet her and told her that she looked perfect, but that she didn't have to go through the trouble. She says goodbye to her son and grabs him by the face, growling, You better be good. Red flag number 1. We go outside, and then she starts laughing at my minivan, saying that she wouldn't be caught dead in that thing, and insisted we take her car and I drive. Okay, cool. She laughs at me and then makes me drive her car. This is going so well. Red flag number 2. Yeah, she's totally just jerking your chain, and you're going along with it. She gets away with it because she's hot, you know that. If you just one time you kick off the shackles and tell her we're not gonna do what you wanna do. Are you getting in the van or ain't you? But ever the hopeless romantic, I just chalked these up as some playful quirks. Yes, these things that I wouldn't stand for with an ugly girl are definitely just playful quirks when it comes to hot girls. Yeah, it is how it be. We get into her car, which honestly was much nicer to drive than my soccer dad mobile, and I ask her, so have we decided on a place? She gets really excited and says, yes, Waffle House. Okay. I was a little confused because this lady was living in a swanky neighborhood. She knew that money wasn't an issue, and she still chose Waffle House. Yeah, she likes to go slumming around, you know what I'm saying? That's the whole reason we're on this date, so I can mingle with the lower classes. Even though she really owns literally nothing, she's become accustomed to a certain lifestyle, okay? Apparently, Waffle House was a regional spot for a late-night rendezvous, similar to the truck stop in my hometown. It's worth mentioning that I only knew of Waffle House from when I was 10 and went to Disney World with my grandparents in the 90s when it was all old people catching the 7 a.m. meal. So I didn't really know how much of a den of iniquity, but a place that I now know is the glue that holds our great culture together, it had become. Yeah, and the iniquity has made those bonds stronger than ever. I asked if she was sure because I knew a really good diner nearby that was pretty upscale by diner standards, but no, she insisted on Waffle House. Red flag 2.5. Not a red flag for me, honestly. Waffle House is dank. When I was living in Pasadena, I used to take every date I ever had to Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. Every time. I liked it that much. Oh, okay, I said, trying to hide my disappointment. It wasn't so much that she wanted to go to Waffle House, but I was more hoping to have a nice, semi-romantic evening out. Yeah, at a diner. Shush. I didn't protest and just started driving. I mean, diners are nice, you know? Take your girl down there and share a phosphorus, why don't ya? A chocolate malt for me and my gal. What? If you don't want to spend time with me, just say it, she screamed. Okay, yeah, that's red flag number 3, for sure. OP says, no, it isn't that. I mean, a pretty woman like you in a house like that, driving this car. I mean, I figured you'd want to go somewhere else. But yeah, Waffle House is okay, I promise. This seemed to calm her down. Her demeanor changed instantly. It went from anger to listlessness, which are basically the only 2 quote-unquote emotions that she has. Whatever, I need a Prozac. I really do wish OP would throw her for a loop, make her head spin, you know? You just tell her straight up, Waffle House is not a real answer. I gave you days to decide, and you gave me a half-assed answer, so we're gonna go where I want to go. Or you get out of the car. Or I guess I'll get out of the car and go back to my soccer dad van. That's when Waffle House lady drops a bit of a bomb, saying, do you just want to keep driving? Leave the kids behind and go start a new life together. Holy shit. I giggled, assuming she was joking, and said, oh yeah, sure, where would we go? Just being playful and indulging her a little bit. I don't fucking know, she snapped. Just get the hell out of this state and this life. I realized that she wasn't being playful. She genuinely thought this. Definitely red flag number 4. I mean, saying that's number 4, screaming at me about is number 5, abandoning your child number 6. I think crashing into a telephone pole is an easier exit at this point. Yikes. OP says, well, let's just see how this date goes. You should go into politics, OP. I just kept driving. We weren't even on the road for 10 minutes at that point, and we still had another 15 to go, so I switched up the conversation to asking how the dating scene was going for her, and trying to steer the conversation away from either becoming the next Thelma and Louise or renting a Model B and robbing banks across the Midwest. Neither option felt very favorable. I mean, robbing banks sounds pretty cool, but not with her. She's a loose cannon. Yeah, but she gets results. Well, I refuse to work with somebody that pig-headed. I'm telling you now, Wazowski, she's your new partner. Either you guys team up and rob banks, or I'll have your badge and gun. Doesn't make any sense. The remaining conversation shifted from light to mildly flirty. Ooh, sex was the last thing on my mind. The divorce still stung, and I hadn't slept with anyone else since my ex, so I wasn't quick to jump into bed with anyone anytime soon. She, on the other hand, had other motives. I mean, you were looking for the rebound. Let's get it over with, I guess. We make it to the Waffle House, and I help her out of the car. She asked me to, told me to be a gentleman. I said I was really hungry and couldn't wait to eat, and then asked her what she was hungry for. Before I could make for the door, she grabs the lapel of my coat, looks me dead in the eyes, and whispers all sultry like, "Hungry for you," followed by grabbing my hair and shoving her tongue into my mouth. I was uncomfortable, but laughed it off, leading her inside. I'm not even going to continue adding red flags because all of this is mild considering what happened next. Laughed it off, bro. There's not going to be a second date. Obviously, you guys were looking for some different things, but I don't know. What's wrong with feeding her an appetizer before you go in and get some waffles? What if you don't want to? You don't want to. It's fine. It's all just jokes. We get inside the restaurant, and she stops dead in her tracks and says, "Oh my god, this freaking a-hole is here." I thought it was an ex or a person she recently had a disagreement with, but no, it was the cook. I may be from the country, but I know there are 3 people that you never want to mess with. An overworked and underpaid gas station attendant. Hey, I did that for a while. A pissed off farm boy, and a cook at a greasy spoon diner. So is the Waffle House cooks. Don't we have another story similar to that from like way near the beginning of the channel? I'm gonna link that on the end card. I asked if she wanted to go somewhere else and what cook could have done that was so bad. It turned out that she was there last week with a friend who she subsequently got into a fight with, and the cook said, "If you bitches are gonna fight, take it outside." This was apparently a personal affront to her honor, and she would not let this misdeed go against her unknown. We are sat by the server, who I will call Yellow because she was wearing a yellow Waffle House shirt. She asks if there's anything that we could start with as far as drinks. I say a Coke, and then give Waffle House lady a chance to order. And she says, "Yeah, get that fucking cook fired. I need to speak to a manager about him." Oh, Karen. Entitled DatingHell. It's all getting all mushed together. She goes on to explain her predicament, and Yellow, professionally, I mean, as far as Waffle House standards go, apologizes for the incident, assures her that it won't happen again, and that they'll let the manager know once they came in. She asked if Yellow could call the manager at home. Yellow said no, and went to fetch our drinks. I mean, to be fair, I don't think Cook meant bitches in a disrespectful way.
You might have to change your middle name from Jebediah to Bitches. That's all I'm trying to say. No disrespect.
At this point, OP says, I was super uncomfortable because I was sitting in the middle of them. I decided to just keep my head down, keep the conversation light, and hope to hell that the food is quick once we do finally order. After a few moments of silence, she asks if I have her back if she fights that cook. I said promptly, hell no, because it wasn't my fight. And even if it was, I'm not a violent person. Never actually fought anyone in my life. She was instantly offended, and it turned into a one-sided argument in the middle of a Waffle House at 10 p.m. Yeah, and the only car that you have is hers. You're gonna have to end up driving her back home. Or maybe she'll just go and meet your Uber if you try to hoof it back to her house solo and get in the van. There's no escape. I guess we're having an argument at Waffle House. I literally texted a friend nearby my location in case I needed an emergency out. Yeah, I'd say all of this qualifies, OP. You need it. This might seem like overreacting, but I spook easily. No, you have a right to be spooked right now. Thankfully, before things could escalate, Yellow swooped in with our sodas and asked for our order. Now, at this point, my experience at Waffle House was reserved from stories heard at work and that one time that I went to one in Georgia back when I was 10. But I was familiar with the seedy crowd that hung around at truck stops in the dead of night, and this crowd was the same. So I was a bit on edge because this wasn't the normal seedy hole in the wall that I was used to. Yeah, it's definitely time to tuck tail and run. Go home, never try new things again. Do you have pancakes? OP asks innocently, because I hadn't eaten at one for 16 or 17 years. I figured a breakfast place would have pancakes, despite the name. I mean, even IHOP serves frickin' burgers. Apparently, this amused her because she started cackling, causing the whole of the restaurant to stare. You friggin' moron! It's a Waffle House! They don't have pancakes! Oh yes, silly me. What a faux pas. So I just ordered a Belgian waffle with home fries and called it a day. The sooner this date was over, the sooner I could get back to enjoying being single. Really puts it all in perspective, doesn't it? I will say it's a very me thing to order pancakes at a Waffle House or a waffle at IHOP because I'm derpy and I don't really read menus. I'm also a bona fide whore for pancakes. Oh yeah, OP out here, he like them pancake butts. Just a flat butt that has a small incision at the bottom. She must have forgotten about the fact that I wouldn't fight for her honor against the mischievous grill cook or my faux pas on available menu items because she once again grabbed me by the lapels and sank her flavor muscle into my unsuspecting maw. Why you keep doing this? I'm not a fan of PDA. It makes me uncomfortable because it makes me feel like I'm on the spot and people are invading a private moment, so I give her a light kiss and pull away. She took offense to this and threatens to cut me if I don't kiss her back. Not a fan of being cut or being on the next day's news as someone who lit up a room. I returned her affection. Wow, this is coercion in a really big way. I really hope you don't bang her at the end of all this. Up until the cutting talk, I'm like, maybe. But now, no, you can't. We must have been going at it for a hot minute because our food came. I tore into my waffle because I was starving by the time it got there. She stops and begins eating, calling out anyone who looks at her funny or in her direction otherwise. I was convinced I'm going to have to negotiate my way out of here and just walk home. Who hasn't been there before, though, you know? As a man, our dick leads us to some dangerous places, some stupid situations. All you can really do is pray that you survive and consider it a lesson learned. Thankfully, we both ate pretty quick. I paid the bill and swiftly let us out. It was quite a ride home, because I guess she tuckered herself out, asserting her dominance at that particular establishment. Now you're probably wondering, oh good, the night's over. The insanity ends, right? But you would be wrong. It was now closer to 11:30 p.m. I wasn't tired, but home was still 30 minutes away. Trying to lumber that ride in the Econo tank was gonna make that trip take even longer. I just wanted to go home. Don't we all? Unfortunately, I had no spine back then. What with being a glutton for punishment and a people pleaser in my youth, she asked me to come inside and just sit with her for a little and chat, and we could get to know each other. Oh, well, that seems harmless enough, I thought. Why, if she tried anything, there was a house full of witnesses. Trust me, dude, they're not on your team. They know all about her, okay? Not to mention she's tried to play tonsil hockey with you twice out of nowhere. I mean, if you're hoping to bang it out, just tell me that much. I won't think less of you. Maybe a little bit, but that's what your 20s is for. OP just says, okay. We went in and she retreated upstairs to get into pajamas, telling me my pants better be off by the time she got down. You better do it or she's gonna cut you. There was 100% chance that that was not going to happen, so the pants stayed on. When she got down, she actually looked cuter than before. Ponytail, Tweety Bird pajama pants, and a hoodie. She looked at me, noticing my abundance of pant, and sneered. It's kind of weird to be into the Tweety Bird pajama pants, isn't it? Reminds me of this time that a date was going really well, and it turned out she was wearing My Little Pony panties. I'm like, okay, I gotta go. This isn't happening. Not technically a red flag, but it gives me a really weird vibe. I don't like it. So, Waffle House lady says, "Are you sure you're not gay? 'Cause you don't want to bang me?" OP responds, "No, I just don't think I'm ready yet. I haven't slept with anyone since I got divorced, and I want to take things slow." "Huh," she mutters. But it was a frozen evening, for she would not let it go. No, the whole point of the song is that you're supposed to let it go. What are you talking about? She crawled onto my lap and proceeded to make out with me. I know, I should have stopped her right there, but I was a mixture of nervous and scared and, well, flattered that someone was attracted to me. Low self-confidence was sort of my thing back then. Eventually, she got bold and decided to travel below the Mason-Dixon line and do a wee bit of exploring. Come on, not a wee bit, an average bit. Tell me the truth, OP, you're packing some schmeat, ain't you? I grabbed her hand and firmly told her, "No, I don't want this. I don't even have protection." She must have sensed that, as she produced one from her hoodie pocket. I continued to protest while I wrestled her hands. Eventually, after what seemed like forever, she hit all the right spots and coerced me into copulation.
No, don't do it. No, don't do it.
No, I don't want... No, please stop. Oh, it feels pretty good, though. She knows exactly what she's doing. She's done this 100 times before. Thank God she had that rubber, honestly. I don't know, man. Men were just simple creatures. That's why I try not to put myself in these positions at all. She's like, "Hey, want to come up?" I'm like, "I see what this is. Bye." LP says, "I felt blah afterwards. It wasn't terrible, not gonna lie, and she was gorgeous, but I felt sick." I mean, yeah, you were quite literally coerced. Maybe that's what she's into. Doesn't mean it's okay because, consent wasn't there or anything. So yeah, I'd say you're perfectly within your rights to feel sick. After we did the sticky, we lay on the couch and watched the finest works of television that networks offered at 1 a.m. Infomercials? Was this back in the infomercial days? God, things are so much better now. You kids, you don't know, you kids. She fell asleep, so I jumped up, woke her up briefly to tell her I was leaving, and ran out the door to hop into my rolling Thunderdome and get the H out of there. I vowed to block her number when I got home, go get screened the next day or week, and never talk to her again. Go get screened? You wore the rubber. It should be fine, right? Then again, yeah, we don't really know her track record. It's probably for the best. It can't hurt. So yeah, good for you. Blocked her, end of story, until she texted the very next day. You see, I didn't take those red flags and use them to deter me from going out on another date. But no, we dated for about a month or two after this. It even led me to have a stress-induced heart attack at the ripe old age of 27. Jesus Christ. Wowie zowie. But yeah, that's a story for another day, I guess. If you want to hear what happened after Waffle House or the events leading up to the heart attack, I'll be more than happy to tell them if this story gains any interest. How about a comment section? Let them know. I'm kind of interested. Fail relationships it's sort of a big thing that we do here, TLDR, I met a girl, thought she was grand, fell in love, found out firsthand it hadn't, went well for a week or two, then it all came unglued. Jokes aside, 10 points to anyone who got that reference. Got it, nailed it. 10 points, what are they worth? I want to cash them in. Met a lady, seemed okay at first, but things were violent and I almost had to escape a Waffle House late at night. Oh, we're not doing the singing thing anymore? Okay. But she was hot, and stuck her tongue down my throat, so I don't know, I kept dating her. Yeah, but you got that rebound out of the way, didn't you, son? Even though during the date, I thought I'd literally have to fight my way out of a Waffle House, yeah, I was stupid like that. If you want the rest of the tea, upvote. That's it for me. Have a good one, y'all. Well, user Benquo, that is quite a story, and I would like to hear more. It started out as a one-off, but it doesn't have to be if you don't want it to. I'll take the ride with you if you're willing to ride it out. And if not, well, I can definitely look at this one and be like, man, we really are stupid sometimes, you know? I got a few stories I could recount like this from my 20s, but I don't think I will. Gotta keep that air of mystery intact, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the story. Like I said, I'm gonna link the Waffle House fight cook guy thing on the end card. You probably enjoy that. Please do click on through. Always remember, friends, that you are loved, you are worthy, you definitely deserve it, and I shall see you in the next one. So until then, bye-bye. Go ahead and cut them open. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine.